Right, well, good afternoon everybody, once again, welcome back to Plot. I know it's been a few days, excuse me, I know it's been a few days since I've made a video, just over a week, but believe you me, it's been hectic up here. Of course, with my missus still being a little bit poorly, I haven't had as much time to spend up here as I would have liked, but hey ho, we'll get caught up in the end. The weather's been absolutely beautiful. Bit cool at night time, but it's been absolutely fantastic through the day. And of course the temperatures have been rocketing in the 100-foot greenhouse here, where you can see along the far end, that's for early tatties, that's the Winston tatties, and they've actually grew about nearly 1.5 foot in the last week, and they're absolutely romping away. We'll have a look at the Jazzy in the lower tunnel at the end of this video, because there's a great bite in there that I want to start on. I have been promising for quite a while to show you how I go on with my grapevines, but hopefully we'll get round to that later on. Well, for this video, I've managed to get started some of my tomatoes planted out in the pots. I've got loads to do yet. As I say, I reckon from last year I'm a good 3 weeks behind, but no doubt we'll get caught up. I'm not that worried. The main thing this week, it's all cutting. As Henry VIII said, chop the heads off. And that's what we'll be doing this week. If you remember a fortnight ago, when I did my dahlias, fantastic, look at them now. And they were potted up, put in the bottom polytunnel for a week, and then over on the back border. And this is our second week now in that pots. And I'm over them. And all I've had is a little bit of water, and the roots are just starting to poke through there now, so I'm over them with that. Now there's no way on this earth I'll be tempted to plant them out, because we've got a really cold spell on the way over this weekend, Sunday into Monday, possibly Tuesday. Temperatures are going to plummet. So as I mentioned on my Facebook page the other night, I've prepared all the sprout bed, all the stakes are in, the hoops are on, ready for the net. And told Roger, don't even think about planting the sprouts out. I know they've been out in the back bed for the last 3 weeks. They're lovely and hardy, nice dark green, but there's no way I'm going to be putting them out with these frosty cold winds that say forecast for tomorrow and into Monday. Sleet and snow for the northeast. Could possibly get as far down as the northeast from Scotland. So, and anybody thinking about planting them out, well, think again, because you will lose them, because dahlias are frost tender. But I've got 3 trays of these, and these are going straight back on the bench on the back of the garden there. All I've got over is a little plastic cover, a little bit of poly over the top of them, and it just keeps them frost free. So why I brought them in tonight is because these are the main things I want to focus on over the next week. Getting my dahlias, get them all stopped, or topped, or cut, whatever you want to call it. There's a way around everything, and it's a way of producing a better crop than what you would do if you just leave them to their own devices. Now dahlias will break naturally, but if you want a nice shorter bush with more flowers, then it's best to do it yourself. Same with chrysanthemums, I'll show you that later, but we'll get on with the dahlias. Now these are just the ones I potted up. I've been moving around some of the floor and some of the wood chippings, level the place out, and of course the dust's been catching me throat. Absolutely chronic. But with the dahlia, it's an easy enough job, and it's just going down to the head. That's a lovely little strong plant, that, as you can see. You just work your way down, pull the leaves back, and then you can just get your finger in there and your thumb, nip out the top, and that's all it is, just a young top there. And that's it there. So that's it, top now, or stopped, whatever you want to call it. So what's going to happen now, if you look down below the leaves there, in between the sets of leaves, you've got little side shoots starting to appear. And what they'll do, instead of the energy getting pushed to the top of the plant, the energy is going to go to the sides of the plants now. And all these little side shoots that's in between the leaf axils is going to start growing out. So you're going to end up with a lovely bush What you can do as it gets bigger and bigger, you can stop them again. It depends on how many flowers. If you go to the big show lads, the big show dahlias, they top them, and then what they do, they keep them branches nice and clean, stop any side shoots appearing on them, so they get one single stem on one branch. These are just the bedding dahlias, so all I do is this time of year, beginning of May to the middle of May, is just get them, knit them out, and in a week's time, a fortnight's time, that'll be an absolute corker, nice little bushy plant for planting in the garden. As I say, it's going to go back on the bench now. It's not going to go anywhere for the next fortnight. There's plenty of room in the pot, so it's not going to be pot bound. As I say, once again, I keep going on about it, but it's an easy job to do. It's timing. Get your timing right. Timing's everything. So I planted these seed in March, early March. Only potted them off at the end of April. Give them a good 6 weeks in the trays, and as I say, the trays were absolutely full of roots. Nice little plants with good root systems on, and you pot them up in a pot like that, and as I say, they fill that pot within a fortnight to 3 weeks, and a perfect little plants for planting out. But get your timing right. As I say, it needs to be perfect for a fortnight's time, for the middle to the end of May, and by then hopefully we should be frost tender up here. We can't get late frosts well into June, but that's just a chance you've got to take. But hopefully these will be nice and hardy, we can plant them out, and without any fear of losing to the frost. So that's the dahlias. Now the chrysanthemums are exactly the same. Now this is one of my cuttings, and of course this one is John Wingfield. That's an absolute corker. And this is just one of my cuttings that were left growing on the old stool. I've got my new ones are outside on the bench, just no cover whatsoever. They're just sitting out on the bench here. They've been out for a week now. They're nice and hardy. Because chrysanthemums are pretty hardy. So I'm going to leave them outside. I'm not going to touch them. Let's see with this one. And if I just open them pair of leaves up, you should be able to see the two little growths. Actually, all the way down there's little growths coming away in between the leaf axils. Now, once again, the idea of stopping these is just pulling the top out, just the young top. And the idea of stopping them is when you're showing your plants, is for timing. Now what will happen now is, as with the dahlias, these little side shoots here, they'll start shooting out, and then you can choose however many heads you want, 2, 3, 4, whatever. A lot of the big growers, they can flower them singly. One head, I can flower 2 up. I like to flower 3 up on mine. At the most 3 heads. So what I'll do is, as these grow out, the side shoots come out, I'll just leave 3 on. Then I'll go right down the bottom of the plant, and it's an easy job of just pulling out the little side shoots that's in between the axils. I'll clean all them down. I've got enough heads on the top there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. I'll let them 4 grow away, and I'll pick the 3 strongest out of them, and that'll be you get 3 or 4 first-class blooms off that plant. So that's the chrysanthemums. Now what I also want to do this year is the peppers. Now we'll have a look at the peppers, and we'll go through the bottom tunnel. Exactly the same. But what you're doing, you're nipping the tops out, because all the goodness is getting sent to the main growth. If you leave it just growing, it will grow up and up and up, and eventually it would start to push out. It would break itself. The top would break, and it would start sending out side shoots. But you'd end up with a tall plant with a bush on the top and some fruit. Doing it this way, I know John Murphy tops his plants here, tops his peppers and chilies. So I'm going to do it this year. I haven't done it for a few years. So I'm going to top mine this year, but I want to get 3 sets of leaves on the chili or on the pepper before I decide to top it. Make sure there's plenty of side growth in between the leaf axils before I nip that top out. And what will happen, it'll do exactly the same as what the chrysanthemums or the dahlias do. Over your leaf axils, it'll send new shoots out, and you should get a nice little bush of peppers or chilies with plenty of fruit on, and then you should get a nice early crop from there. But we'll go through into the bottom tunnel, into the big tunnel, and we'll have a look at chilies in there. I've also got a grapevine in there that I want to cut back, but I'll be doing that tomorrow, so we'll probably finish the video off tomorrow I might start it down home because I've got a few chilies and peppers down there that I need topping. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pot them up, and I'll explain all that as I'm potting them on. But for the time being, we'll get out of here and we'll go next door and we'll have a look in the big tunnel. Okay, right, well, I've had to open the doors to let some fresh air through here. Roger left them on the hook, but far too hot. Even with just leaving them on the hook, the temperatures can just absolutely soar in here. As you can see here, these are our jazzy potatoes. A good 2 foot high. Flowers just come on. So what I'm going to do in the next video, I'm going to lift one of these probably at the beginning of next week. As I say, once again, timing is everything. Now that's my sweet corn there, just sitting in the tunnel here. And once again, timing's everything. I don't need these sweet corn for another 3 weeks. That's why I had decided, because they come on so quick, the tatties, I thought I might have lifted them a little bit earlier. But I'm not in any hurry. They can stop where they are, because these are this is a priority now. And these are just starting to get, the roots are just starting to get to the bottom there, so it tells me I've got at least another week or a fortnight before I have to plant them out, and I'm over the moon with them. And of course these are the sweet corn swift. So these will go into there once the tatties come out. And of course I've got the bean hunter, and I've got some baby bush melon, and I'll be doing the three sisters in this tunnel here. It's quite a bit of a challenge to get all your crops right, because you're using 3 different crops. So you know your main thing, get your soil right. Once these tatties come over here, we'll have to measure it and see what it's like, get a reading of it. If it needs anything, we can just bone meal, blood fishing bone, and maybe it's a bit of lime just to bring it up, bring the numbers up, and we want numbers around about the 6 mark for here, for your sweet corn. And for the beans. Now we'll put the sweet corn in, and we'll put the beans in. The beans are going to be producing their own nitrogen, which they do. So they're going to feed the sweet corn. The beans are going to climb the sweet corn, and of course I'm going to have the melons on the bottom, shading everything. And that's the whole idea of it. The melons are going to blanket the floor, keep the weeds down, keep it nice and cool, and then of course you've got your sweet corn on the top and your beans climbing up it. And that's the whole idea of the three sisters. It is a bit of a challenge, but have a try of it, and once again, you've got to have your timing right. Now, I haven't planted my beans yet. I'll give them another week, and then I'll plant my beans. Reason being, a couple of years ago, I planted beans alongside the sweet corn. And of course, once the sweet corn starts growing out in the leaves, and the fan leaves are starting to get really big, and of course they're shaded down below, so some of the seeds struggle to come through. So what I've been doing now is I've been giving a fortnight before I plant these. Plant my beans, and the beans are just starting to come through then, because in this heat the beans can romp away. So once the sweet corn's been in a week, I've got a nice sized bean just to plant alongside of it. The bean will start wrapping itself around the sweet corn as the sweet corn grows, and the bean's going to grow up the sweet corn. And of course you've got your melons on the bottom, or courgettes, whatever you want to put on the bottom, you know, pumpkins, anything. It's just as long as they're broadleaf ones. It's going to give plenty of shelter on the bottom, keep it nice and cool, keep the moisture in, and that's the whole idea of it. But the tomatoes, I've just had millions of tomatoes. I've been sick of potting tomatoes off. I've had quite a few lads coming down for tomatoes. And these ones here, these are the Spanish ones, absolute cracking plants. But I'm going to have them. I'm going to have to knock off soon and get these a good soaking. That's my main priority, is getting up in the evening and getting the watering done. Roger comes up in the morning, does a bit of work on the tunnels and the beds and that, and I come up in the evening and do all the watering once it's a little bit cooler, because the sun's still high there now. It's only 20 past 5 in the evening, and the sun's still baking hot, so we're going to have to watch ourselves. Right, well, let's get into the peppers. Now these are my own. These are the red bell pepper that I saved from last year. I did get a one from my son. He brought one up from the fruit shop last year. It was a red one, but it had yellow stripes. It's a bit like the old Tigrella tomato. Absolutely fantastic. I've got them down home. I'll show you them tomorrow. Now they're exactly the same. They're grown brilliant. Now these red bell peppers. Actually, these are from John Murphy. I've got GM on the bottom there. So John, where's some of your red bell peppers? I've got yellow ones down there, which I'll be treating exactly the same. These are a bit on the dry side also, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them on the tray and I'm going to give them a good soak tonight on the tray. Let them take the water up. Now, as I explained, we did exactly the same with the dahlia and exactly the same with the chrysanthemum. Now, you can see these in more detail if I get a little bit closer. There's the leaf axils there, and in between the leaf axils, you can see the little leaves growing there. You turn it around, you've got little, in between the axle, you've got little, tiny little leaves growing out. That is your plant structure. So what you want at least, take it from a seedling leaf, and even from the seedling leaf, the small leaves coming out there. So you want at least 3 sets of leaves. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. There's 4 sets of leaves on there. So I'm over the moon with that, and that's just about the size I like. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, peel the top back, and there's just a little head there. Nip them out. Just make sure you get it all out. There we are. So what's going to happen there now is them two little side leaves that were just at the side there, they're going to start growing away. As with these and these, they're all going to come out and they're going to form a nice structure of the plant. So instead of having just one stem, which would have grown up, and then it would have finally decided to start splitting and sending out side shoots when it's about 2 foot high. But now what's going to happen is, now that I've reduced the top and taken the top out, it's going to start sending all them side shoots out there now, and it's going to create a lovely little bush. And of course, when you've got a nice bush instead of a tall straggly one, you're going to have a lot more fruit on it. So hopefully that's going to carry a lot more peppers this year. Once again, that's another one there. That one's a little bit more moist. It must have been getting a good share of water. Once again, there you can see the little side leaves coming out there, all the way up on the axles. It's an easy enough job to do. Just going in, fingers, and just nipping out the top, and leaving that little side axle there. And 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom there, and they'll just romp away. It'll be a fantastic little pepper plant. I'll do the yellow ones down home tomorrow. I've got red striped ones down home. I've got yellow ones down home. I've got the long jaw chili down home. I might treat a couple of them exactly the same, and see how they grow, because they were quite tall last year. The long jaw chili, quite tall plants, around about the 3 foot mark. So I might nip a few of them out and just see how they go. But if you can see down the bottom here, this is one job I must get done, which is a grapevine that I planted last year. Now all these side shoots, a lot of them are carrying bunches. Now because it's only a first year cane that I planted, I'm going to reduce this by about half. The main stem is there. I want to put a line across there, so I can run that up and tie that to the line, and then I can start working my way down some of these side shoots. As you can see, a lot of them got bunches of grapes on. Yeah, so where I'm working from here, what you can do, if you're growing it up against the fence, you can use these side shoots like a fan shape and grow them out, and then what you'll get the following years is you'll get the bunches of grapes, you'll get the side shoots coming up and to grow the bunch of grapes up, but you can use it as a frame, both sides. Yeah, like a cordon. And then if you're not using them like I do, there's a lovely bunch of grapes there. I'll go one leaf past that and then I'll cut it there, and I'll do the same all the way up. Some of these longer ones that haven't got any fruit on, I'll just cut them out altogether, because I just like to use one main rod, one main cordon right the way up, branches coming off there, and along the top. Once again, I'll grow the cordon right way along there, and I'll just, as the branches grow off, I'll snip them right back and just have one bunch of grapes on per branch. But it's a quite an easy job to do. I'll probably get that done at the end of the video. I'm going to first take it as and we'll clip through that, and I'll show you what it's like when it's finished. But we'll probably do that tomorrow, because time's getting on. I'm going to have to crack on, get some watering done before I go back down home again. and then we'll finish this video off tomorrow. What I will be doing is, before I go home tomorrow, I'll get the video finished off, but what I will be doing is I want to take some rhubarb up for cooking for the home, but I'll keep the leaves, I'll keep the rhubarb leaves, I'll take them inside the greenhouse, let them sweat down, and I'll show you what I'll do with them, because next week I want to start planting the sprouts out. Now if you've got trouble with clubroot, a couple of lads commented on the Facebook page last night on both flea beetle and cabbage root fly. Well, the easiest thing to deal with that is the rapier root. If you grow them on like I do in single pots, you get a nice good root ball, nice good solid root ball for planting out. Firm it well in and I'll wrap a bit rhubarb leaf around it. But I'll show you that next week on next week's video when we're planting the sprouts out. But I'll cut the rhubarb out tomorrow and let them sweat down for a day or two. Hopefully by Monday we'll get rid of the worst of the weather, and then Tuesday we can get the sprouts planted out. But we'll get this video finished tomorrow. We'll do the grapevine and we'll have a look at some of the chilies down home. Okay? Right, well, good afternoon everybody. Once again, it's a different day completely now from what it was yesterday. Bright sunshine. This afternoon was absolutely fantastic, red hot. And then hopefully this afternoon it's absolutely freezing cold. So that a little bit of rain through the night, but not very much. Still showers here and there, but really we need a good downpour to really permeate through the soil and give everything. We haven't really had any rain here for weeks. So say good showers over rain. This afternoon, here the drops, the old rhubarb. Absolutely fantastic bed of rhubarb here. But not only for eating, but I like to use the rhubarb for sprays, pest control. Of course, one of the main jobs we'll get rid of this dying down tomorrow, and then Tuesday or Wednesday we'll put the sprouts over the back end there, but I want to plant the sprouts out middle of next week, so I want to have some of this ready. So somewhere around here I've got a nice big knife, which is just there on the back there. Don't fall and end up piercing myself with it. But that's my old cleaver. Both comes in handy. And of course, first class rhubarb. A few stalks of them. And on one side for the moment. And of course, they're getting a bit crispy now, but it's the old garlic flushed here, the old bulbs that I never used. A little bit of rot setting in them, but still great to use. And what I'll do is I'll take a couple of these down home, crush them up, or I might just put a fire on over there and boil them in the old metal watering can that I've got. But along with the garlic spray and the rhubarb, we're going to hit these pests head on. You'll see this in the next video. I'm getting everything prepped. For middle of next week I hope to get the sprouts started, get them planted out. So if I've got enough rhubarb leaves, I'll get them done. And of course a good garlic wash. A load of lads asking about cabbage root fly. Well, if you give them a good soak with your garlic juice first, wrap your roots in that, you shouldn't get any problem whatsoever. This is mainly for clubroot. But cabbage root fly is just the same, just as damaging. But leave you away, you can wash the garlic and then spit that out. Wind's picking up again here in the north, it's absolutely freezing. So I'm going to finish off this video inside before I get myself away back down home, and I'll show you the pepper's not down there. Right, so I'm just going to bring the camera inside here. Of course, kind of get moved in here for plants. It's absolutely stored off at the moment. I'm going to have to get myself cracking and get motivated, because As you see, all our leeks are our leeks are sitting on a bench here. They need to be planted out. They're just going to go outside in the garden. The pot leeks, there's the pot leeks there, doing absolutely marvellous. Now I don't start potting my pot leeks off till May, and as I say, we should really the bigger you pot you can afford, the better. We should have done out and it'll not stop the polythene moving around, but it might warm the place a little bit. Here's my pot leeks, and of course by May they should be pencil thick and a good 2 foot high, 8 inches, 2 foot high. And that's a great secret of growing pot leeks. And they were only planted in February in a cold greenhouse, just with a little bit of polythene protection in the melon house, no heat on, and that's the result. Absolutely fantastic. I put my leeks to one side in the long pot, so I always know what I know. So I didn't get it planted out next one. Just have to go around them, because I think a good soak this afternoon. As I say, that's my own. My main priority is to get everything watered down of an afternoon. Roger comes up this morning. I say this morning he's been out backing up the outside potatoes, so he's done a grand job there. But I've got these inside, and as I say, I'll probably end up with about a dozen decent sticks of rhubarb and a dozen leaves. Now with the leaves I can cut them in half. I'll cut that in half, and that'll do 2 plants just nicely. Now what I'll do with these, I just find a basket or a bit of shelf and just lie them on the shelf. By Monday or Tuesday, they'll be nicely wilted, so you'll be able to manoeuvre them round your leaves easy enough, manoeuvre them round your root balls here, your sprouts here, cabbage. But I'll show you that in the next video when we start planting over. So I'll put them on one side, on the bottom there, they'll work down crisply. Now the grapevine I was on about, remember, last year, I put one up here. Well, that's what I've done up till now. I've managed to work my way through it. I've cut off most of the side shoots, and I've left a couple on there that's got small immature bunches of grapes. I'm only going to flower, like there's one there, there's one here already been tied in. I'm only going to flower these 3 bunches, just 2 bunches there side with a bunch on here. Cut everything else off, and I want to stick that in there. I'll bring that down in here, tie that in there, tie that one in there, and that one in there, so what you get is a fan shape. And just work your way up. Now this is just a pot one. When I'm doing my main ones, I just use a single rod, and that's just throwing one rod up. What you can do, as I explained at the beginning of the video, what you can do is these side shoots you can leave them on. For make framework, if you're going on a south-facing wall or against a fence, you can leave these on. They'll grow along, and then next year, when the leaves are green, they'll start budding again, and they'll send out side shoots. Well, them side shoots will all carry bunch of grapes. So what you'll end up with is something like an apple tree, like a standard apple tree. Branches to the side. Work your way up. Once you get the desired height that you want, bend them branches to the top over, and so you've got a nice framework built up over here. And that's the way to do your grapevines. Because you see, I just use a single cord, just one cord and straight up and along the top, and I just let the side branches fruit out and cut them all back to a single stem at the end of the year. That's where I let it grow my grapes. But I'll show you as we go on throughout the year. Loads of work involved in it. Pruning, dissbudding. Once the fruits get up, taking a lot of the bunches off. I think I cut about 50 bunches of mine last year. It was absolutely amazing. It was stowed off with fruit. But having too much is a bad thing, because it doesn't let the fruit swell properly to a decent size. And that's where I always say, if you keep an eye on your trees and your bushes, treat them properly, and you'll get a fantastic crop. And speaking of fantastic crops, just next door here, That's how what strawberries are getting on. I'll just give you a little preview of these. They're absolutely spotless. There's not a thing on them. Lovely and green. They've got a fantastic crop. They've got 1, 2, 3. They've got 3 side branches grown from that, just from that small. And I'm sure this is a colossus. Yeah, it's a colossus. And we've got 3 lovely branches of fruit there. The bottom one's set perfect. These were in the bottom tunnel, and they've sat in there all year, right through the winter, no heating, nothing. Plenty of fresh air, and that's the way they're growing to now. Just a short bush, don't big massive leaves on, taking all the energy out of the fruit. As I say, just keep them nice and cool, and they'll grow away nice and steady, and this is the result. Now I haven't fed these for the simple reason they're in these nice deep pots, and my compost in here, and they've been feeding really well. I've had nothing. All I've had is a garlic spray, and what I did do a fortnight ago, or 3 weeks ago, is some little touches of white still on the leaves, and that's off the baking powder spray that I made up. Now the baking powder spray is easy enough. It's just a bit of Epsom salts, a bit of soapy water, or washing up liquid, or olive oil. Put your baking soda in, warm water, good mix up. I've shown you how to do it. I've done a few recipes over the last few videos, but I'll probably do one again next week because I want to give them another wash with that, and that just keeps it nice and clean. As I say, I can do a garlic spray like I'm doing with the cabbages. They just spray that. But once the fruit's set on these, I don't like to spray the fruit with garlic. So that's why I'm going to use baking soda or baking powder spraying the fruit. And they're just sitting in here, the door's open, wide open. I think it's down to about 56, 50, just under the 60 mark in here today. That's that cold wind blowing. But it's fantastic for the strawberries, they're loving it. I'm going to give them another week, and if the fruits keep on swelling the way they are, and then I might start looking to get them a little bit of feed of either comfrey, or I can mix a nettle juice. I can mix half a nettle juice, half a tomato juice in the watering can and give them a drink of that. But loads of stuff you can feed your strawberries on. As I say, I'll give it until next week and see how that keeps swelling out, and if they need any extra feed I can give them it. But main priority is keep them nice and clean, give them a good spraying, and I'm hoping to get some fantastic runners off them, because I got these off Dave's show last year. I've got 6 plants plus a parent, and I'm going to use them for my main crop next year, the Colossus or the Singer Giganta. I've got Albion down there in the baskets, but I'm a bit disappointed with them. I picked them for my new crop, but they're not growing half as good as what they should have been. Maybe because I only got small plants when I first bought them. Maybe take a bit of time to pick up. Now, I grow my strawberries completely different to most garden centres and the big crop growers. I spend a lot of time on them. I give them a lot of feed, a lot of sprays. So what I'm hoping off the Albion to get some good runners, and then I'll start rooting mine early on in the year, feeding them well, give them a really good starting life. So you've got a first-class plant for planting your baskets in October and November. And of course, they just sit out in the garden, make sure they get a really good frosting before they get brought inside the tunnel. So I'm hoping the Albion will repay us back next year, but we'll see. I've got 2 or 3 backups. I'm not worried about, but for the time being, I'm over the moon with what I've got. As I say, we haven't had really much time to spend planting out this year, but hopefully all that's going to change next week. It's getting a little bit better. We've still got a lockdown. I don't know how a lot of you are coping with it, but it's a bit chronic for us. Only being able to get up for an afternoon for an hour or 2, that's all. Maybe it's next week. I've got a few big jobs that I want to do, and I need Roger's hand, so I might come up with, but keep my social distance, and it gives a hand to put a few nets over the bottom bed before I decide to start putting the sprouts in the top. So that'll be next week. I'm going to pop down home now once I get my roof on, get everything water down here, and I'm going to pop down home and I'll finish this video off down there. I'll just show you how it's down there. And what I want to do in the next video is start potting them up. Now, as I say, a lot of people start potting stuff up and they're potting in the wrong pots. You only got a small plant, you just move them up in steps. And But when I put the peppers up, I make sure the pots are full of good root system. And not too big a pot because you don't need a really big pot for peppers. Clean a tray, so anything I water or anything I feed will be safe in the tray, and then just take it as I want. I'll explain all that down below. As I say, it's a little bit windy up here this afternoon, so I'm just going to knock off, get myself away down home, and I'll finish this video off, and then we'll crack on maybe tomorrow with making the new video for next week, which will be all about the brassicas. Okay, I'll see you down home then. Right, well, that's a lot better. Managed to get myself back down home again. Of course, I'm going to have to take this shirt off. It's absolutely cooking up here now. Well, I'm back home on my little 6x6. Compared to the tunnels up the allotment, mind, when I first went up there, the first hour was it was blowing a gale. I mean, the wind's still strong, but the sun's coming out now, and the temperatures can rise by 10, 15, 20 degrees within half an hour. Unbelievable. Okay, so we're going to finish off this video, and of course these are my own peppers, my own strain. I saved the pepper last year from my son's shop at the fruiters, and it was a red and yellow striped. Look, a beautiful pepper, fantastic. So I thought, well, I'm going to give it the same treatment as what I do with all my peppers, and see what sort of result I got from it. Now, my pepper seeds do exactly the same with my tomato. I clean the fruit off. Clean the seeds out of the fruit, give them a good wash, let them drain off, and then I spread them over a bit of tissue paper, same as I do with my tomatoes. Let them dry out, and I give them a dusting with yellow sulphur, and that's the result. Absolutely fantastic. Over the moon with that. Now, of course, what I was talking about up the garden, when you start potting things off, now these are just the right stage. So I can just tip it out, and it's just giving the pot a little bit of squeeze, and it just filled its pot. It's absolutely fantastic. Beautiful white roots. I'm over the moon with them. Really first class. So now's the time for these to be potted up. As I say, people tend to pot up at the wrong stage. Small plants into big pots, and you've got a lot of area of compost that can be cold, and it can affect the seedlings. That's why I always wait until I get a good root system on my plant before I shift anything. You notice when I'm potting off, when I pot the dahlias off, when I pot the marigolds not off, I always make sure they've got a good root system on them. That way, I think they go into the pot, fresh compost, give them a good watering, and within a couple of days they pick themselves up straight away. So I'm over the moon with that. And of course, these are the yellow bonnet. Once again, these are the ones I got from John Murphy. Once again, John, thanks very much. They're growing absolutely great. I'm over the moon with them. And what I'm tending to do with all my chilies this year, and the peppers, I'm going to nip the tops out. As sure at the beginning of the video, just pinching out the tops. I'm going to let these get on a little bit bigger first. I've already got my pots down here. I haven't made my mix up yet, but when I finished the video up the allotment, what it is, I put the cement mixer on, and I got cracking on that, and I made a big mix up. And these are going to be my pots for the chilies, and it's not so bad potting from that size into that, because it's got a really good root system on, and you're not going to do much damage. As I say, that the temperatures are really warmed up now. You get into the middle of May, so what I always like to do is bring my compost inside, let it warm up overnight. I have my water inside, warms up overnight. Nice warm compost into there. Put this into that one, which I'll do at the beginning of next week's video. I'll start putting these up. I'm going to leave them for this weekend, leave them till today, and then I'm going to bring a barrel load of mix down tomorrow from the allotment, and we'll get cracking on these. I think this is where we'll start down here next week. We'll start on the chilies and the peppers. We'll put them up because I'm planning on having 4 chilies on the back here, 3 chilies and 4 peppers on here, because it's a nice big wide bench. And then down here, when I strip this lot down, I'll get a couple of tomatoes down into here. I've got some large Thompson Morgan tomatoes I've just been given, so I'm going to trial them, and I'll put 2 on each bench, and that's that greenhouse full. Move the moon. Me melons for me 3 Sisters challenge. They're growing away nicely. Sweet corn's growing away nicely, and the only thing I've got to do is put the beans in. We'll mention it a bit more next week in the following video. But I'm over the moon with that. See, I'm getting back down home now. The only thing left to do now is to go and give myself a good scrubbing. I've had my hair chopped. Daughter come on with the shears and gives a scalping, so I'm over the moon with that. Got to have a nice bath and maybe can of beer the night and I'll be over the moon. But that's it for another video. I'm glad you're still enjoying them. Lots of comments online again, once again, thanks very much. As I say, if you want to comment, just comment down below, or send me a message on our Facebook page. I'm on there most nights, and if you want to come across, it's Jeff Foreman on the plot on the Facebook page. Just send me a friend's request and we'll get you signed up, and you can join us most evenings, chatting away with a lot of people throughout the UK. It's challenging times at the moment, as I say, with all the lockdown, but you know, if we just persevere, we'll get through it. It's I feel sorry for a lot of the showmen, because they've put 6, 7, 8 months work into this year's crops, leeks, onions, flowers and whatnot, and you know, a lot of them's not going to be shown. So you know, it's challenging times. But as I say, we've just got to plod on. I've still got tons of tomatoes left down here. I've had 2 or 3 lads at the garden this week who want tomato plants, so I'm always willing to give away plants. I've always got hundreds of them. These are Alicante. I'm going to put a couple of Alicante to one side, and I've got a couple of smaller ones at the back there, some money maker. My brother likes money maker, so I always put a few in a pack for him. And these are just at the right size for me now, because in a couple of weeks' time, at the end of May, these will be planted in his cold greenhouse. And also, what I've got down here, growing, yes, there's 8 of them, and these are Elsa Craig. Now these ones are going to go outside in the patio. I'm going to just let them grow on in here. There's no heat on in my greenhouse now, it's completely cold in here. And I'm just going to let these grow on and get a nice decent size. You can see the water dripping from the bottom, as usual. I always water my plants from underneath, and very rarely I lose any. I've got plenty of cucumbers on the go. I've got courgettes on the go. And the place is still pretty full, but by next week I'm hoping to get all this cleared out and get my old plants set up on the back. But that's another video. We'll start in here next week and we'll get these peppers not planted up, and the rest can go up the plot. But yeah, it's great for the time being. Thanks very much again. Just keep sending your questions. If you want to respond, just respond down below, and we'll get back to you as quick as we can. But once again, I'm going to enjoy the sunshine, make myself a cup of tea, have a quick bath or a shower, and then back outside for an hour tonight and do a little bit more potting off. But that's the beauty of having a little greenhouse in the back garden. Get yourself outside and you can just plod on. But that's what I intend to do today, just get a bit more potting off down here. But thanks again for all your comments. As I say, next week's video we'll start down here, we'll get the peppers done, and then we'll go into the brassicas. I brought my bag of rhubarb down, so I'll make myself a nice rhubarb crumble today. And of course the leaves are up in the shed, just on a bench, sweating, and they'll be fine in a couple of days' time to start wrapping around the brassicas. But that's all for the next video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye for now.